Feeling stuck? Searching for clarity? Welcome to Life in HD with me, Natalia, a podcast about clarity, self-discovery, and embracing the unique way your brain works. I'm a life coach who was late diagnosed with ADHD. Ever since, I've been on a mission to help others break free from unrealistic expectations and build a life that truly fits them. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or like you just don't fit the mold, this is a space for you. Whether you're navigating ADHD, anxiety, or just trying to break free from outdated expectations, with real conversations and practical strategies, I will help you reframe your mindset and build a life that works for you. Let's redefine success, challenge the stigma, and live a life in high definition. Ready? Let's dive in.
Hello, I am Natalia, and I want to welcome you to Life in HD. Today is the first episode that I start welcoming everybody. Normally is Dr. Pat, who does the amazing job of just welcoming everybody that is listening and also just saying beautiful things about me. So I just want to thank you because Dr. Pat, every single time that you introduce me, I start beaming with all this excitement of like, oh my gosh, I admire you so much. And now you're saying all of these things about me. So
because I admire you. I mean, what you're doing is beyond groundbreaking, and we can no longer be silent. And I think today's show is really going to point to that. You know, people, I don't know that everyone understands the courage and the commitment it takes to be you, Natalia. And what you're doing in the world, the way you're educating, the way you're talking, and you're really breaking this down for people to understand, people like you and me. And that's what today's show is about, right?
That's right. Yes. Today's, I would say, is my favorite episode because
it's a good one.
We're going to talk about the positive aspects of why our brains are wired the way they're wired. And then I just want to take the opportunity to truly go into a real life story, which is your story, which I find fascinating. And so I really wanted this episode to be in a little bit of a different format, but yeah, just because I feel like when people start listening to more and more stories about what people have gone through, and that is not just a new thing, but this has been going on forever. And the more and more we hear stories, the more and more people are going to start seeing themselves in them. And that's going to start truly breaking the stigma that is going around about neurodiversity and especially in autism and ADHD.
Yeah.
So,
and if we don't talk about it, then we're not going to understand. I mean, you know, you're going to share your story, but also there's such a stigma around it that, you know, you don't realize until you start talking about it in public what people really think of you. And that's what we got to stop.
Exactly. And so I would like to start with a little bit of the you and I are a bit of nerds, so let's start with numbers.
We really are.
We like numbers.
We do.
We don't like to come up with the numbers, but we like when someone else did and we can talk about them.
Totally.
So over the last 2 decades, we've actually seen a steady increase of people identifying as someone with autism or ADHD. And there are people that say maybe is because it's trendy, or maybe there's something in the water, or there is many other things that I think everybody is aware of what is said of like, maybe this is the reason why there's an increase in people self-identifying as autistic or having ADHD. And although it looks scary to see that more and more people are finding themselves that they are into this category, we are actually starting to recognize that it is less about something happening that is triggering people to become ADHD, and is more about better studies and better understanding and way more talking about it, that is allowing other people to be like, hey, yes, that is who I am. And so some of the numbers that we have, some of the data that I figured out, I have it here. So the CDC's tracking shows that autism identification among children has increased, and The ADDM network estimates a report of roughly 1 in 31 children identifies as autistic in like the normal periods now. And all of this increases obviously by location, and there is socioeconomics, if there is people that can afford to get tested, if there is people that have in the school systems have equipped neuropsychologists or therapists. So if there are none of those resources, well, we won't identify. So the numbers could even be bigger. Also with ADHD, CDC data shows that in the recent years, more and more children are being diagnosed. So as of 2022, it was for 11% of children in the United States.
That's a very big number. We need to hit the pause button for a minute. That's gigantic number for people to just wrap their brain around.
Yes.
11% is big.
Yes. And what we've been noticing more is that now a lot of adults are getting the diagnosis. And it's not that they just got it, is they were under the radar when they were children. So the number is probably even bigger for children. It's just that we are now just starting to properly identify and being able to measure like the right way of giving someone the diagnosis. There's not really a scan or something physical that needs to be done to the brain. It's all done by interviews, talking, and then there's some testing that is done. So yes, if you don't get any of these things or you don't have the resources, there might be a lot of people that are out there that do have it and that they felt all their life they've been standing out or they don't fit in, or they say things like, I am pretending to act normal, but I don't feel normal. And it's not about being normal. It's just that your brain was wired differently and you just haven't figured out the kind of wiring that you have. Also, more and more adults and women are the secret agents of ADHD and autism. We are the least diagnosed as children. So that now there's a resurface of women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s that are like, it was ADHD. Plus, add to that hormones. Hormones change everything. So then the numbers definitely keep changing and they will come up more. And the same way that when they started making better telescopes, we started finding more planets and more stars. It's not that they were never there and now they're appearing. They've always been there. It's just that the technology is getting better. So now we can see it. Yeah. And that is what is happening with all of these neurodivergences. Also, one of the things that practically triggered it was the pandemic. The pandemic was one of the bigger triggers into the self-diagnosis of neurodivergencies, because people started to, when the systems got removed, when people didn't have their routines, their rhythms that they were used to, when everything was removed and we were sent home and we had to figure out life, that's when people started to realize, oh, why am I so anxious? Why can't I function? And it's because there were a lot of exterior things that were helping them regulate and just be. And in the past episodes, we talked about how technology has shifted and grown so much that it's changed the way we do things, the way that we view shopping, the way that we do interacting with other people. All of our routines that were maybe already scheduled on the outside by stores closing at a certain time and TV being not on demand, that all had attributed to us coping or also passing under the radar, because we did have the systems that helped us navigate life, right? Like the library, as I recently went to a library that it was using one of the old catalog boxes just for their booklets. And I can't explain the feeling of nostalgia and love that I got from opening a catalog door
Oh, I know.
and like searching through it. And I went
Oh,
to the librarian and I said, you know what? We should do, I'm like, we should do, like, I'm part of the
yeah.
library. But I did. I went to them. I'm like, I'll be involved in it, but we should do a retro library day to show children how it used to be that we needed to find something in the
Good.
library. This statistics showing that children under the age of 16 uh, are struggling to know what's alphabetically ordered. Like they don't know how to find things by the alphabet, which
No,
is
no.
insane.
Yeah. Well, but then hence reading and writing, right? I mean, come
Exactly.
on now. I mean, you're looking at stories that you have, stories that I have, which didn't make sense in a family unit because, like, you're doing a lot of other things really well, but hello, why can't you put that sentence together?
Exactly. Which, so this is a perfect way into jumping into your story because this is why I wanted to talk about it, because even though people feel like this is a new thing, and yes, technology has changed the way we do things, and that's why probably we're struggling more, uh, but it's not a new thing. And the systems were not all perfect. And I feel like your story is something that needs to be said. So um, let's start from the beginning. Just I want you to tell me about how is it for you growing up, like
Yeah.
school, and what challenges did you have, but also what were your bigger motivators to like just keep going?
Well, two things really important. I cried for a lot from when first of all, I was born into this world with a mom that was an addict alcoholic. So therefore, I was born into this world with a craving. And so that created situations. But as I got older, like 9 months, a year, right? There were certain behaviors that none of my relatives went through. My mom rocked me all the time. And so they got me a rocking horse. And then my uncles decided she needs a boxing gloves and a punching bag. So you understand they were adapting in a positive way to watching what
Mm,
worked for me,
that's
right?
it. Yeah.
Instead of running through the house. But it wasn't until I got older that the real kind of what's going on. Now, I will tell you, have you seen the movie The Accountant? If you've
Uh,
seen the movie The Accountant, what you're watching is a grown man flashing back in his life to all the people or his dad that made him adjust who he was. So he had to bring in tools, and I did too. I mean, I had to learn not to tap. But I got to tell you, if you saw my feet right now under my chair, I'm telling you what they're doing. I have to have my hands together right now, like this. Um, so these are the things that you get conditioned to fix because you see in the world that's broken,
that's
right? I
it.
mean, honestly, if I sat at a dining room table for any, like, maybe 2 minutes, I would have an entire drum beat going on with the fork and the knife on the table. But there were other parts of this. And what happened is you get older. I had a blackout, but I was always highly imaginative.
Mm.
So let's go with that.
Yeah, that was my next
Extremely
thing.
imaginative.
So I I love that you talk about your family adapting and adjusting, because that was my experience as well. Was I
Yes,
never
too.
felt like I stood out inside my household because my parents did adapt to us, and more we're realizing, wait a second, my parents are also neurodivergent. Like
No
all of
kidding.
these family members that were like, oh yeah, that is something that we do in our family, and you're realizing, oh, this is this is something we do in our family.
I
And
know.
that's why I never felt like I stood out, because I was like, yes, in school is like nobody can handle her, but at home and like that's just how, like her grandmother, it's
Exactly.
exactly like her mom. So I
Exactly.
see that other people seeing themselves in you and helping you regulate, that's a blessing, because many people don't have that. But definitely, yes. So
Yeah.
what were some of the I would say giftedness, because
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, so
that's it.
very fortunate. My grandpa, who actually was born in Brazil, was also an artist. And as a young child, I mean like five-ish, I would go to his shack and I would learn how to paint. So I have a condition which I found out much later. It's called for those of you out there that want a scientific name, it's called hyperphantasia. And what that is the ability to generate extremely vivid mental images to the point where they reveal real world perception. You can look it up, but there's an impact to it. You know, sometimes, images don't work in math and statistics. However, when people talk, like you're talking to me, if you were to ask me to repeat back in words what you said I couldn't, that's a downer for taking a test. But if you ask me to tell you what you just said, I could describe a vivid story about everything you've just said. So this is there's a connection now between this cool thing, which now is cool, was not cool
It wasn't
all the
cool back
time,
then.
not
Yeah.
cool, but in autism, and they're trying to study it and they're trying to research it. In my case, because I have all of these other really interesting, I'm not kidding. You want to hear a gift? Give me a drum set. I can play the drums like nobody's business. Okay, one other note, table tennis.
Yes.
People like me that like repetitive, we accept. I'm a table tennis champion, not because I'm better than other people, but because I can focus in a way and put things together. So there are some things that the concept of the network.
That's it.
I saw the vision of it before I started to write a white paper. I'm writing a white paper. I started it 4 weeks ago. It's 225 pages so that I could take all the imagery in my brain and put them in paper so other people can figure out where we're going and what we're doing.
That's it.
That is not the easiest thing for me to do, Natalia.
No.
However, it's a lot more easier because the images are clear. But you know this. Come on now, let's laugh. Okay, here, we're going to laugh for a minute. My first live-in relationship when I was 22 or 23. Never really been in like a relationship like that. So you're in this relationship, you're creating this beautiful life together, and your first night together in this beautiful new house, and I'm rocking as an adult. Come on now, people, right? Yeah, here you are with the love of your life, and you're rocking. You're like in bed rocking. Okay. Now, I love doing that.
Because that, yes. And now you know what is the beauty of it is that back then, some of those things would bring shame of like, oh my gosh, like the teenagers say now, how cringy that you did that. Just the word cringe makes me cringe. But it's just to say that when I look back and I do have that visceral reaction to instances in my life where I did things that were clearly me stimming, like having a stimulation movement on my body to release excitement or whatever I'm feeling, or things that I said without thinking. When I look back, and I don't look anymore with shame. I look at it with okay, what did I learn from that? And what I learned is that there are some people that accepted me the way I was, and those are my closest friends still.
Exactly.
Now, and that there are people in the world that won't understand me, and I won't be their cup of tea, and that's okay. I don't need to be. Like someone told me, you don't need to be Nutella, Natalia. You don't have to, not everybody has to love you. And then right after he said that, another person said, I don't like Nutella, and we all judged him really harsh.
But you understand, though, this is the coolest thing we're talking about today. Now, it took me a long time because when you have this gift, you can't pass GREs. You can't, it's very difficult for me to sit through a 9-hour exam, to really read something, and then they want you to describe what you read. So what's another sign? I grew up as a doodler. Oh my God, to this day,
Yes.
I'm a great doodler. I have a piece of art on the wall that I doodle. But you see, these were all images that helped me. And, part of this, once I got into a doctoral program and went through that program, because of this ability to put concepts together, because that's the other gift that comes from this.
That's
It's
it.
not just about seeing images, it's seeing how they all come together.
Yes. You see a story.
You see a story. And if you're in a graduate program, you have to see the story, then you have to research the story, then you have to prove the story, then you write the story.
Hmm.
And because of that relationship, my dissertation and research won awards. And
Wow.
thanks to Dr. Carolyn Grandrose, who helped me
Hmm.
enormously put the
Yes.
writing together. But you see, we have to really take a moment. Now, I want to go back to that rocking situation.
Okay.
Had I been in a relationship with a different person, I'd have probably felt shame to life. But I didn't know. Rocking
Hmm.
was the way I went to sleep. I don't care if I'm sleeping by myself or you go into camping in a tent. I was rocking to go to sleep. But I discovered that that's the way I grew up.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And thank God this was a person that simply just hugged me.
No.
Can you imagine?
Oh, those are the moments where when you find the right people, it just it's like this hug to your brain, right? There's this thing I do that makes me feel odd or different because I don't see other people, which we just don't see them because they're probably hiding it. But there is many people that do this, right? There's uh, many people that have plenty of stims and they learn really hard how to mask them. And masking is something we talked in the other episode. It is the leading cause of burnouts and anxiety and depression, is this idea of you're repressing so much of yourself. So if you don't have a place where you could be unadulterating you, like without any restrictions around others, well, you're never going to feel safe. You're always going to be on panic mode. You're always on anxiety mode.
Yeah.
So finding the right people is important, which is it's actually what we talked about in our last episode. Finding the right place to be yourself and to be as creative, to say whatever outrageous things comes to your mind, and choosing those people where you could be that is not easy, but they are out there, and
Yeah.
and it also generated probably in you too this sense of when you see other people, because you're looking at them with, I want them to accept me the way I am. Well, it makes you way more accepting of who other people are, and that makes us more compassionate and
Yeah.
more towards towards others, and easy to apologize when we
Yeah.
messed up.
Well, it is. And as I'm writing this white paper, which is now up to 225 pages, it's really organized in the way that my brain works, right? But one of the things I love in including it in the paper is I get to really own it, but it's part of this something which you'll be able to read. I will share this paper with our hosts. But part of this too is what you just said. See, you know how many people listening, Natalia, now to this show, because of what you're doing, are going to feel less shame, are
Hmm.
going to feel less criticized, are going to say, you want me not to tap, get me a drum set. Hello, right? Or yes, I rock. Therefore, I've got to. I mean, at one point, do you know how many rockers I had in my house? Hello. Okay, great. Linda's my best friend. She knows I love the rocker. I got a rocking chair. I got a rock. I got it. I don't know what it is. It doesn't matter. But I want to thank you. I can't say enough about it. And let's remind people how they can work with you because we have to help each other.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, I think finding people that can understand you. And as a coach, what I do the most is walk alongside someone that feels stuck or feels like they don't fit in, or that they're just struggling to just be. And the first thing we do is we figure out what makes them amazing and what makes them unique. So if you are a person that feels like you've been pretending to be a person your whole life, reaching out to a coach, and obviously it doesn't have to be just me. I think just reach out to, there's many coaches. But if you do want to reach me out, you can find me at www.natalialifecoach.com. And I'm on the socials. You could also search me on YouTube at Life in HD with Natalia. And Dr. Pat, I want to thank you so much for this and for sharing and for being part of my journey too. Jumping into doing a podcast was difficult, and you just presented it in a way that made so much sense to my brain. And that's why I've become so proficient at it, that people are like, you're so good at it. I'm like, you don't understand the amount of work I'm going through and the support I have, the people behind the scenes. And so I want to thank you for that. And then for any listeners, if there's anything that you would like to share, or just you could tag me in a post, or make a comment, or just reach me on my website.
And for those of you out there that just texted me, I will shoot a video of me hitting a forehand table tennis ball at
we need to make that viral.
I'm gonna do this, but what I want to say to you is the speed by which the balls are coming at me and that I'm hitting them. That's what we're talking about today. Thank you, Natalia, for everything.
No, thank you, Dr. Pat.
Oh, gosh. We'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for spending time with me on Life in HD. I'm Natalia. Tune in every third Monday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 2:30 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. If today's episode resonated with you, I would love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear this at natalialifecoach.com. Remember, clarity, growth, and success look different for everyone. Keep embracing who you are, and I'll see you next time.